So what do you do? What do you tell your buyers today when they're looking at a certain price point and they know that the market is saturated with buyers and there's very few listings out there? What advice do you give to that, say, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z buyer?
Someone who's maybe like a bit overwhelmed, or can you like elaborate a little more on the question?
Yes, very okay. Let's go there. Let's say that they're frustrated by the marketplace.
Okay.
And there are 18 offers on every house they're looking at, which we're not seeing that much.
I got you now.
Today. We're seeing 1 or 2 or 3 offers on a house, not 18. What do you...
Sounds good, yeah. My thing would be, my first bit of advice would be, you're taking the right steps, doing everything properly so far, and I think it's really important to understand that everyone else is in the same shoes as you as a buyer, and markets are so very different right now depending on where you are, because like, I helped a friend of mine get a house in Delaware County. It was the first house we saw. We got it in 4 days, which is insane in this market. And then I'm helping someone else look in Conshohocken, and clearly the market's very different there because there's no inventory. And we've now seen 20 houses with the same buyer, and it is frustrating. It is overwhelming, but you kind of just have to reassure with the message of, if you do the right things, you're patient, you're persistent, it will work out eventually. And you learn more and more as a buyer. Unfortunately, the more houses you see, the more offers you put in, the more time you put into the process, you do learn more, which ultimately will help you. It will help you have terms to make your offer stronger and help both of our negotiation skills together and how we can work on a property. So I guess just like being patient, being persistent, doing the right thing, you're going to get a house ultimately. No one has that bad luck where they get screwed time and time again. Luck will be on your side if you're doing the right thing. I think
luck will be on your side. By the way, you accused me of being boring in these interviews.
That was pretty
the longest answer you've ever given to anything.
Ask me one more question then, and maybe I'll...
So, what do you tell the sellers today? How should they price their home? If the house next door sold for $410,000 and these homeowners think their house is better because they always do.
Good question.
What would you advise them? Where's the market going?
So yeah, your conversations have to be different with the sellers, but you gotta play the game, which a lot of sellers know how to do. And we recommend with sellers nowadays, or one of my personal favorite ways to think about listing your home and selling your home is the first couple steps we take are running a market analysis, looking at comparable houses in the area, and then you come up with a price that makes sense for your house, right? Mm-hmm. And then I think it's smartest to go kind of just underneath that, price it very competitively. It's been a popular tactic for people because then your interest and activity just goes crazy. So then say you have an open house 2 days later, the house should be listed at $350 and you list it at $325 or $330. You're going to get 10 times as many people at the open house. And I was going to say something mean about buyers, but people are silly at times and they get really excited when they see how much more interest is coming in. Mm-hmm. And that'll make you want the house even more. Sometimes people want things when you can't get it. This is a little psychology bit for you guys, but the more you can't have something, the more you want it a lot of times. So that kind of goes along with that tactic of pricing it a bit lower to drive up the interest, and then you realize bidding wars will come in left and right. And that's what we've seen, to be honest, in the last probably year and a half in this market.
Well, we do try and drive up the value of a house by way of interest in the house, and the more people looking at the house, typically it's going to result in a higher offer price and then maybe higher multiple offer prices. So that's we do try and do that. We don't underprice the house, or we try not to underprice the house. No. First of all, the seller prices the house. We just advise what we think where they should be. But I think it's proven that we just had one in Malvern where we feel we priced it correctly, and the price went way over the asking price, and it wasn't a big design of ours to have the house go that high. It just worked out really well for the sellers, and it was a byproduct of the marketplace. So we don't set the price. Seller doesn't set the price. The market sets the price, and even the buyers don't necessarily set the price because they have to go by what the market's going to do. And then once the buyer comes in with their value, then we see if the appraiser is going to match that. and then home inspector is going to go along with that too. We need to see if they think it's worth that number.